College Football Bros. I am Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, this is a YouTube-only episode. We're going to discuss the firing of Gus Malzahn at Auburn and our 5 favorite candidates to take over for him. If you don't already, be sure to subscribe here on YouTube, turn on notifications, and also subscribe to our podcast that we do every week. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. So be sure to check that out. First question here, though, briefly. Was the firing of Gus Malzahn justified?
In my opinion, I don't think it really was justified. I mean, now I will say, I don't feel like you make a move like this and pay the 25 million if you don't know who you're going to get or if you can land a big guy, a big candidate. Because if you don't know who you're getting, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And, there's no guarantee that a new coach will kind of take them to the next level. Like, Auburn is a very good job, but it's also very difficult considering when you share the state with Alabama, the juggernaut, you're in the SEC West, and one of your crossovers is Georgia every year. That's a tough job, whoever takes it. So, Malzahn was competitive. They were winning some big games over the past few years. There's very little margin for error for the new guy.
Yeah, you say winning some big games over the years. I mean, obviously handed Saban some losses. Just did it last year. Beat them in the Iron Bowl. So it's not, you don't have to look too far back to see some great wins that Gus Malzahn had. He was 68-35 at Auburn. So almost, twice as many wins as losses. And then when you consider what Trey said about the difficult schedule that they've always had, you got to take that into consideration. He's routinely going 8-4. Against those tough teams. That's not that bad. He had a winning record in the SEC, 39-27. So no, I don't think this was fully justified. I mean, I get it. They feel like they aren't really going. They don't feel like maybe there's a trajectory. So I can understand it, but I don't think it's justified.
I hear your guys' arguments, but I'm not just playing devil's advocate. I actually agree with
Michael's likes to go against the status quo, or maybe not the status quo, but just the opportunity for more.
I justified is kind of a weird way of putting it, because I think 2 things can be true. He did a solid job there, like a pretty good job. Obviously, year 1, he almost won a national championship. Even in 2017, he was 1 game away from the playoffs. So he did some good things there. He beat Bama, like you guys mentioned. That can be true. And it's also true that maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's just gotten a little bit stale. Of course, since that first year, there's been a lot of 4-loss seasons. I know that the schedule is brutal, so you can't totally blame him for that. But the reality is fans aren't happy for him. It seems like he's perennially on the hot seat. It just doesn't seem like a fun situation. So it's not my money. If the boosters are willing to pony up 20 million, then I say, sure, why not? Now, as we'll get to, you better hire a good coach, though, to replace Gus Malzahn. I do think Gus Malzahn's still a pretty good coach. So let's get into those candidates. So we've got our top 5 here. The 3 of us kind of separately made our own ballots with who we think the best guys are and just combined our lists. So, Ryan, why don't you get us started with who fell number 5?
Yeah, so at number 5, we had Steve Sarkisian, the current Alabama offensive coordinator. Of course, he was at USC prior to that. Had some NFL experience in there as well. I think this would be a very good hire for Auburn. He obviously learned a ton here from Nick Saban the past couple of years, led some incredible offenses. So I think he would, he's at USC, he did a pretty good job. Obviously, he had some some demons that he was battling that kind of helped lead to his end there. But looks like he's fully good on those things, and he's just done a great job coaching. I would like this hire if I was Auburn.
I'm not as high as you. I'd be okay with it. At UW, his first head coaching job, he did okay. He took over a tough situation. I think they were 0-12 the year before he got there, but they called him 7-win Sark, so he couldn't quite get over the hump there. And then at USC, like you say, it's kind of hard to judge that. It was really only 1 year and some change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a good offensive coach, so it wouldn't be a bad hire, but I wouldn't be like super excited.
Fair.
Yep. All right. Moving on to number 4, we have Mario Cristobal, who's currently the Oregon head coach. He won a Rose Bowl. He's taken the recruiting at Oregon to even higher heights. We know how good he is with the offensive lines. he spent 4 years at Alabama, so there's some familiarity in that area. He was the lead recruiter down there and did a great job. He's proving that also in Oregon. I remember him from the days of T.Y. Hilton at FIU when down there. He does have a pretty good chunk buyout at Oregon. $8 million if they get him before January. It goes down to $5 million after January 1st. So they might wait till after January 1st if they do go for him.
Okay. Significant interest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Cristobal might be number one on this list if this were made like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That Oregon kind of falling short of expectations this year is maybe a little bit of a dent there, but yeah, he's been good there.
Yeah, I can't blame him totally for this year with a lot of the opt-outs they were faced with before the year.
Very true. All right, number 3 on our list is Billy Napier, who is Louisiana's head coach, and we've liked this guy for quite a while. He's an incredible recruiter. He's had some of the Sun Belt's best classes ever since he's been there. He's coached under Dabo and Saban, which couldn't hurt. So he kind of knows what it takes at a big program. And he's quickly turned around Louisiana on the field. It's not just bringing in recruits for setting up for the future. On the field, they've quickly turned from a below 500 team to arguably the top dog in the Sun Belt. So I think it'd be a very, very good hire.
Yeah, I mean, he's young. He's obviously had a good track record already. He's got head coaching experience. There's really not a whole lot to dislike about that Billy Napier hire, other than just he hasn't been a Power 5 guy. But that's kind of why he's such a hot commodity.
Yeah, there's a high ceiling for him. There's also a floor that we don't know, but there is a high ceiling for him that would be enticing if I was an Auburn fan.
Yep. All right, number 2, we're going to Hugh Freeze. This guy has been a Power 5 head coach before. He did pretty darn well there at Ole Miss, but right now he's just killing it at Liberty. Obviously with the Auburn transfer quarterback Malik Willis, he's they're had a fantastic year this year, and he's done so much good with that program. I think it would be a great hire for Auburn. He's obviously a great recruiter. He has experience in the SEC, has experience in the SEC West, knows what it takes. I just think that he could bring some excitement and kind of I think he'd fill out his staff with a lot of big time people. So I would like Hugh Freeze if I was Auburn.
Yeah. I mean, he won at a tougher place to win than Auburn. So, and obviously there were sanctions involved there, but I don't think that's, the only reason that he was able to have success. He's now kind of proven it at Liberty with the amazing job he's done there in a short time. So yeah, this is one of the hires. I mean, I would say the same thing about Billy Napier and perhaps Mario Cristobal as well, where, all right, you're paying $20 million to get rid of Malzahn and bringing in this guy that everyone can get excited about. That makes sense to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I would for sure be excited as an Auburn fan if we landed Hugh Freeze, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, finally, number 1, Iowa State's Matt Campbell. I don't know if you listen to our podcast. We're obviously big Campbell guys, so maybe that's why we have him a little higher. But he's done so much with less. He's guided Iowa State to their best stretch in program history, and it's not like they're just barely winning. Like this year, they're now in the Big 12 title. They have a decent shot of pulling it off. We'll see how they do against Oklahoma. But either way, they've remarkable. They beat Oklahoma earlier this year. They've been competitive. And Texas, yeah. He's on the younger side. He's passionate. I just think he would be a very good hire.
He definitely would. I was the only one. You guys both had Campbell number 1 on your list. I had him 2 behind Freeze, just
That's
because
fair.
of Freeze's previous experience in the SEC West, and probably because Campbell, his name isn't getting thrown out quite as much for this job, at least yet, because I think people don't expect maybe this to be the job he takes. Not that it isn't good enough. It's definitely good enough, but maybe it's just not the right fit. I don't know if I see Matt Campbell going to the SEC right now, but who knows?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it would be a great decision if Auburn did get Campbell. So this is kind of like candidates that we would think were best coaching candidates, but so it's not necessarily who we think they'll maybe in order of who we think they'll get.
Right.
But yeah, so he would be great.
Okay, well, how about any honorable mentions? Any guys we didn't bring up? There's one that
go for it.
Okay, well, Kevin Steele, their current defensive coordinator, at least as we record this, He's the
Sorry.
defensive coordinator.
Just
What'd
yeah.
you say, Ryan?
I just went. Nah, I just
Oh,
you know,
okay.
yeah.
I thought that was static in my ear.
No.
It was worse.
I
Yeah.
mean, just paying 20 plus mil just to hire your defensive coordinator. Tough luck.
That's my thoughts on it too. I would be extremely underwhelmed. Not that we always say it's not that he couldn't be successful, and obviously he's been great as a D coordinator there, but yeah, I mean, 20
He's
plus mil to just hire the DC. I don't know.
Yeah, and like if part of the reason you were getting rid of Malzahn was because of the culture or maybe it being stale, like you're hiring someone within the regime. He's
Yeah.
also a little older. He's 62. I mean, he's not over the hill or anything, but it would just be an odd look for the boosters to go all in. And we didn't even mention like granted, it's totally different landscape, but his head coaching stint at Baylor was dreadful years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
Really bad. So I mean,
Mike
obviously
Loxley level.
things can change, and he's a great coordinator. I don't know if he's a good head coach.
Good recruiter.
Yeah,
as well.
the hope is that you people, if they did hire him as the head coach, you'd be like, hey, maybe it's like an Ed Orgeron thing. He's learned from that
Right.
long time ago failings, but I don't know. We'll see. Any other honorable mentions you guys want to bring up?
Yeah, I had. Let me check my list here.
Sure. I had Bill Clark while you're looking.
Yeah, Clark would be
His
good.
name's been
UAB
thrown out. He's
Goes
in
to
the
the
state
state.
at UAB. Done a
Yeah.
great job there.
for
I
sure.
don't know if fans would be super excited, but he's a solid coach.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good one. You got to throw out Luke Fickell. It doesn't really seem like his name's getting tied to Auburn opening here, but I mean, there would no doubt be a fantastic hire for Auburn. He's killed it at Cincinnati and recruits well. So
There's
that'd be
some
good.
other name. There's two other names I've seen. One is Tony Elliott, the Clemson offensive coordinator. He's never been a head coach. That would be a little worrisome for me. Maybe Auburn's a gig that could pry him away though, because he's been pretty loyal there. And then this is a long shot, and I don't know if I would want him if I was Auburn, but Jamie Chadwell, Coastal Carolina, just seems like that would be a big gamble. He's done incredible things, and we love him on the podcast. We love the Shants, but that would be a big swing there.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, there you have it. Hopefully this decision has not already been made by the time we post this here, but we shall see. Thanks for watching the College Football Bros. Let us know in the comments below. We read all the comments, so let us know who you think would be the best hire, who your prediction as to who the eventual hire will be, and we'll have a conversation in there. So again, thanks for watching. See you next time.
You've been listening to the College Football Bros. If you have any questions for the next podcast, email them to collegefootballbros@gmail.com. To keep up with the brothers on social media, like them on Facebook at College Football Bros, follow them on Instagram at College Football Bros, and for their commentary on Saturdays, follow them on Twitter at CFB Bros. Thanks for listening.